Hello there, this is Skinless, the guild leader for the Eternal Alliance, and this is a video I've actually been looking at making for quite some time. Coming back to, I did a dark side video a long time ago, and I always meant to come back and do a light side, and life got sidetracked and different things came out, and so today we're actually looking at the light side Malak event. So for Malak, the activity is very similar to dark side. Different units that are used than the dark side units. But as far as for the light side path, big things to kind of look at here is going to be specifically that Malak is definitely a lot harder on the side to go ahead and take down. So when you're going to be looking at your modding for this, so now granted, when this first came out, you did this with all, you didn't have to have gear 13 because gear 13 wasn't in the game. So we did this with gear 12 on the 3 units I have at gear 13 now, and I still did this with the gear 11 and gear 10 units. So specifically kind of just throwing some of the mods around just to kind of show you kind of an idea of what specifically I'm recommending. Now, I'm not remodding for this. Now, when I did this initially, my Jedi Revan was probably, I want to say, around 265, 270 speed, something like that. I mean, a little bit lower. Definitely want to have them somewhat quick. You don't have to have a lot of offense, but I do recommend balancing your offense and your protection pool while making sure your speed is somewhat good. Those are the 3 stats you're going to be looking at. So making sure your protection is going to be, I want to say it's around like 45,000 is what I ended up doing with initially. It was a bit harder, like I said, to do. So the higher you can go, the better. But then the 265 speed threshold on Johnny Revan, and then for his offense, just having at least a little bit on there. Looking at Jolie, I really haven't done a ton with him since 230 speed is plenty fast enough. Protection really is going to be his ally. Again, you really want your units to be healthy so they survive the final onslaught of the battle. Offense doesn't matter, but making sure he's healthy enough to continue going and then fast enough to continue to heal as needed and revive if needed. Then for Basilisk Sean, specifically, big thing is going to be her protection pool as well, making sure hers is decently quick as far as that goes. I know she does not need to be fast, though. I want to say I had her around 202 speed, so she does not need to be fast by any means. Just she needs to be healthy, so she, again, survives the initial onslaughts. Really nothing as far as her physical offense goes. Maybe a little bit, but really your biggest thing is going to be her survivability more than anything else. And to that point, I do recommend having the for Giant Revan at least, having his Zetas applied. Now, not everyone does this, and it's a lot harder if you don't, but I do recommend having the Mission Veil Zeta that does allow her to assist. Now, some people think that it's more one of those things that can be hindersome. I found it to actually be more beneficial to be able to have the assists. So that's kind of going to be up to you on whether you think that's going to be necessary. I like the double taps from when Zalbar attacks, she gets to attack. So when you call Zalbar to assist, she then assists Zalbar as well. His big thing is going to be making sure he's got that Power Blast set up for the Armor Shred. So you want that to be all set and good. But let's go back to mission mods here. So once again, very healthy. I went with all 6 health mods and just kind of getting her what we can. Now again, she's gear 11, so you can do it probably with gear 10 plus. But I mean, she's got to reach that threshold, so you gotta make sure you beat that. But I have her 228 speed. I think I did this last time, again, around like 215 speed, something like that. And that seems to work pretty well as far as getting her done. And then as far as for her offense goes, it does not matter as much. She's just there to kind of assist in a couple additional heals as well. Zalbar specifically, I went for offense and health there, so that he hits nice and hard. You want him somewhat healthy. He doesn't have to be that bad. I mean, he's at 38,000 protection, 30,000 health. 227 speed. If you have him too fast, you can create a problem, but I think I did it initially with 240 something speed, but you'll be able to see here, when you have the other tunes at higher levels, his speed does not matter as much. And then I've got, like I said, I showed the offense there, so to kind of give you an idea. So I mean, these are just kind of ideas for how you should be looking at it. Just understand that they need to be healthy and balance out a little bit of offense within it. And then those speed thresholds, they don't have to be super fast. It's just making sure you have it fast enough to where they're able to kind of go. So Zalbar needs to be quick for the most part, and then you need your Generate Revan to be quick. And then the other ones don't matter nearly as much. It's just Generate Revan and Zalbar mainly for that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually jump into the battle. All right. So we've got our text here. And then a couple things that are going to be very important to notice is first off going to be the guys on the sides where they have different things that can occur when Malak hits I'll say 75% health. He will absorb the lowest health unit from the sides, so the captured Jedi. So you've got this one right here as far as for if this one is absorbed, Malak gains the speed up, offense up, critical damage up, and that all can kind of suck as far as for when you kind of go to attack. You don't want him to have all those extra bonuses. The other thing here is the next one is going to be, if he absorbs this one here, it's going to be the extra stack of Dark Infusion. Now, that's one that doesn't matter as much. He can take that one if needed, but you try to avoid letting him take more than just one. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this one here. This one is going to be the critical immunity and defense up until the end of the encounter. Now, you actually want him to take this one because when he gets critically hit, he causes units to have fear, and you don't want your units to not be able to kind of go forward. So you want to make sure he actually takes that one, and then you get the tenacity one here, which adds the tenacity up. So we only want him to really honestly take this one specifically here. The other thing to notice here is going to be specifically stating that the Dark Rage has 3 stacks that are removed. We'll kind of show what the Rage is. Now, these guys here, these are going to be your kind of side units. You can go ahead and just kind of attack. They remove 3 stacks of Dark Rage when they're destroyed. Malak, he can't be counterattacked while any of those are active. So the battle kind of really ends more so when or begins, I guess, per se, when we get Malak down to just him. So let's go ahead and start off here. You never want to start off with Mark because you want to make sure that you can allow Zalbar to kind of move around as needed when he has his cooldowns set. So we're going to go ahead and start with a basic here. So nothing too crazy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and call Zalbar to assist. You can see I got the 2 hits there. I can use a basic here because Zalbar is healthy. Now this is where it's very important, is you have your stacks here of your Armor Shred. Now with Armor Shred, you want to get as many stacks of Armor Shred on Darth Malak as you can. We can see the Dark Rage is at 2 right now. And what I found to be a very, very beneficial method to making sure that you can consistently remove his stacks as needed is I actually apply Armor Shred to one of the droid units. And this way the unit will die faster as we continue to attack. Now removing all the debuffs from Zalbar as we go along. Now that I know the cooldown is reset for Zalbar, or I know the cooldown is at 3 for Zalbar, I can go ahead and use Mark and not worry about it, and let's go ahead and just take out that unit there. So we removed 3 stacks, so now we're back down to 2. So we're going to go ahead and start on the next droid. And now we have to hit Malak. I'm going to remove the bit there for the taunt, and we're going to go ahead and go back to the other droid here, and he goes down much quicker. And you saw how Armor Shred actually remains on the unit as long as it's been applied. So he actually gets to keep that stack of Armor Shred even when he revives, which is perfect. So we want to go ahead and take down this other droid here. Using basics, perfect. Okay, we're down to 2 stacks again. And then I'm going to start going ahead and taking down this guy here. So the reason I'm doing that, I'm getting a couple hits there, is I want to make sure that he has lower health than the others. So that is the stasis tank that specifically is taken when Malak does go down to his 75%. So Let's go ahead here and we'll continue to remove stacks. So that's why we're attacking the droids, is because we want to remove stacks. We're forced to hit Malak. Now we're going to go ahead and apply our first stack of armor shred. And we can go ahead and go back to the droids. I just want to clean up Zalbar. Get the other droid out of the way. You'll see the droids can consistently kind of heal themselves as you go. So we have 5 stacks right now of this. So I'm going to go ahead and pass some turn meter over here. Going to clean up a little bit. And there we go. So now we have the critical hit immunity, which, while you'd think that maybe that would be a bad idea, it prevents that fear, like I said earlier. So I'm going to go ahead here and continue to take down these guys and remove those stacks. So he's got the 2 stacks of Dark Rays right now, 3. And continue taking out the droids. We're going to go ahead and go back over to Malak, apply a second stack of Armor Shred. And it looks like we can't do much there, so I'm going to basic on him. Remove the debuff. Go ahead and mark, take that out. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm actually going to hit over here and try to take another one kind of closer to being out of the picture if I can help it. So that way we can go ahead and remove that taunt. We'll basic here. And then because we saw that Zalbar has only one reset before his next bit is up, we're going to go ahead here and we're going to actually heal up Zal. Let's see, let's go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and hit this guy again. Let's see if we can just get the stasis tank out of here. Now we're watching the stacks of everything on Malak because we don't want that to get too high. Alright, so we've gone ahead and we've removed that. There we go. One more stack. Alright, go ahead and take down the droid if we can. So we got him down to 7 stacks. And we're going to go ahead and start working on the next tube and try to get that taken out and down. I'm going to go ahead and hit one more time. Because Malak is getting kind of lower. So we got to be careful there to balance it properly. And I want to heal my Zalbar here as fast as I can. Now he has his bit there. So we're at 13 stacks. So let's go ahead and take out that. And then we need to get to, there we go, the droid. Balancing our stacks, we have currently 13 stacks. And we want to be down more so in the 10s if we can help it. Let's go ahead and get Revan healed there. Alright. Heal up Zalbar. Get the blind. And then if you need to, you can swap between, like I said, you can swap between those guys as far as the different droids that you're going to hit. You just want to make sure that you are properly taking down the droids as often as you can to remove as many stacks as you can. So that's why I'm avoiding necessarily hitting. We're going to get a 3rd stack of Armor Shred. Now it's not ideal. I worry sometimes about getting him too low. Let's go ahead and try to take it. Let's take out more droids. In fact, more health here. So let's go ahead and call Bastilla. Zalbar's going to need a heal. There we go. We got him down to 12 stacks. So we just want to continue trying to bring down his stacks before we go too much further. Now Malak is very close to being able to take out another one. So we're going to go ahead and kind of See if we can't get a couple good hits in there. We got a real low. Go ahead here and let's go ahead and mark him. And get him out of the picture. I'm going to hold off so I can get that guy down. Go to take out the other droid. And the droids are actually spawning pretty consistently. Sometimes you'll find that the droids don't go very often. Okay, we're stuck in a kind of spot where Zalber's probably going to go. But that's okay. There we go. Okay, so he absorbed him. So what we need to do now is all hands on deck on taking out Malak. So we're going to go ahead and hit him hard. We're going to mark Malak and focus on him. Another stack of, well, let's see, we didn't get another stack there, dang it. Because you got to remember that once you hit the max there, you can only get so much. We got 3 stacks of armor shred at least. I've gotten it up to around 6 or 7 before. This is the final race for the most part, so we want to get Malak down before he hits us 30 stacks. And then the other thing is, remember, is that when you're doing this, that if Malak heals into the green again, his cooldowns are reset. So we need to get Malak out and down as fast as you possibly can without resetting his cooldowns, because he's healing all the time. And there we go. So that's how you're going to go ahead and get it taken care of. Now, you may have to do a few different turns to make sure you get this down, but this is a really good method. The only thing that I would actually recommend is going to be that before allowing him to take the critical hit immunity, you want to make sure you have as many stacks of armor shred as you can. That's the issue with having the gear 13s, and what actually makes it somewhat harder sometimes when you have gear 13 comparatively to the gear 12, because you're doing more damage. But it can be kind of a trade-off. So when I first beat this the very first time, I want to say I had 7 stacks of armor shred. So I hope this was informative and helps out, and I appreciate all my viewers, and I'm glad that I was able to finally get this done, and I appreciate the time many people took to wait for this video to come out. Thank you all for watching, and if you like my videos, comment, subscribe, whatever you'd like. If you didn't like it, let me know, and let's talk so I can make better content. And Skinless is out.